Hey guys, I'm here with Sandra, and I've invited her along to come and talk to us about everything regarding Meadowbrook. So,
hello, thank you for having me, Tim.
well, thanks for coming. And just look at the camera.
Oh, look at the camera. Okay.
Yep. I got yelled at that for the first time. So.
Okay. So yeah, I work at Meadowbrook. I don't know if people can hear me because of your dog barking in the background here. But
Yeah, she's a bit of a loudmouth. Hopefully.
I've been working at Meadowbrook for about a little over a year now. Is this okay? Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. I am the community relations coordinator. So what that means is my job has really kind of twofold. I'm there for recruitment and retention purposes, which seems to be really the big push in the year that I've been there. There's everybody's struggling. Okay.
It's too far away.
Sorry. I could really talk forever, so honestly. Is this okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, basically, I am there for recruitment and retention, and everybody's having a hard time struggling hiring people. There's so many jobs, there's not enough people, and at Meadowbrook, like other healthcare facilities, we need trained people. We need trained healthcare professionals. So we need CNAs, certified nurse assistants. We need LPNs, licensed practical nurses, and we need registered nurses. And everybody wants them. So we have to really think outside of the box, have to be competitive when it comes to that. And one of the wonderful things about it is that it's actually, and it's not easy. I always am working hard with the team to think of new ways to recruit people. But the thing that's wonderful about Meadowbrook is that we offer benefits like no other organization in our community. So it's an easy sell. It's just getting in front of those people to say, hey, come and be a Meadowbrook member. So recruitment and retention is a lot what I do. And then also I'm there to spread the good word of the wonderful services that Meadowbrook provides. So,
nice.
Yes. Do you want me to just, I feel better looking at a human rather than a screen. So if that's okay. And then I can just talk to you.
No, that's fine. I was just playing around.
Okay.
So yeah, I did a walkthrough the other day. I know you're looking for employees, just like pretty much everyone out there.
Yeah.
But I walked through and I was really amazed. Before I knew about where my grandmother went when she was older and needed a lot of extra help. I didn't know about all the areas, all the different neighborhoods I believe there.
Well, what's funny is when you put this up on Facebook as this was taking place, you said, forget what you thought you knew about Meadowbrook. I'm going to steal that because I actually screenshotted it and sent it to my boss because I was like, I love this. It's just a simple way of saying, really forget what you know about Meadowbrook, because before I started working there, I will be honest, I didn't go there. I didn't have a reason to go there. Did I want to go to a nursing home? No. People in general aren't going to go to a nursing home unless they're part of the Girl Scouts and they want to do some good, community service, or they want to get volunteer experience, they want volunteers, or they have a family member that's there and they go visit them. But to go to a nursing home for any other reason is hard for people.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I mean, you really think about it, and nursing homes have this bad connotation to them. They really do, and it really isn't that way. It really shouldn't be. I was walking around and, there's a nice little library type area where someone was working on a puzzle that they had left out, nice large rooms. It really is something that's a lot more. In my work, I'm dealing with the elderly quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get into too much of my work because I want this focus on Meadowbrook. But in talking with the elderly, a lot of people, whether it's, the new elderly, I guess, the 50-year-olds and up, which isn't that old anymore. But
Baby boomers are going to take us all over. Yeah. We're going to be done in for. Baby boomers are like my parents' generation. They're going to be, that's the biggest population because people just aren't having kids anymore. So that's sort of like where this comes in crisis mode. We think about baby boomers are going to be the booming population. Where are they all going to go? Because not all of them are going to be able to age in place in their own home. We all want that, but it's not a possibility in many cases. So that's why nursing homes and limited assistance and those kinds of facilities need to be in existence and thriving.
Yeah, and I like that you said age in place, because the other day you even mentioned, was it the orchards?
Yeah.
The orchards.
Good job. You remembered the name of the orchards. Oh, that's so wonderful. I love it.
I was taking notes up here.
Good. Yes, the orchards is absolutely one of the most beautiful places to live in all of Plattsburgh. I picked out my room. Several of my colleagues have also picked out their rooms. So the orchards is actually, it was just opened 3 years ago as our new limited assistance residence. And you asked me, is that like assisted living? Or somebody had asked me this because I was doing another tour. And I said, it's not, because there's like a certain classification that you get with assisted living, and it's kind of a whole process. But when we opened as a limited assistance residence, which is a great home for those folks that, they are able to live independently, but they need gentle nudging here and there. So maybe they need assistance with like activities of daily living, but just like one person to continuously check up on them. We have an RN and a certified nurse aide on staff 24/7 at the orchards, and every resident of the orchards has the perk of being able to be seen by one of our we have 3 physicians and 1 physician assistant who is only for our residents and patients. So no matter if you live in our limited assistance residence or you live in the long-term side, or if you're a patient in our subacute rehabilitation, our physicians and our physician assistant will make sure that your needs are being met while you're there. And then should you stay at Meadowbrook in long-term or at the orchards, then they will continue. So it's continuity of care. It's a continuum of care that really takes a person and allows them to age in place if they can't age in place in their own home.
Right, which obviously everyone wants to do, everyone swears they're going to do. But the reality is it, becomes very difficult for the individual and their families at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I always ask this, and I probably asked this when we met the other day, but when you're older, in many years.
At least 40 more years, right?
Yeah.
At least.
I often will have conversations with some of our residents and ask them why they decide to move here, because especially the folks at the orchards, they're independent. They have all of their, there's no dementia. They still are involved with different activities. They do field trips and all that good stuff. What made them decide on going to the orchards as their home when they have children that are grown, obviously, but And what I hear is that, people don't want to be a burden on their children. And I think that too. Like my mom told me the other day, she's like, if I have dementia or if I can't remember who you are, then stick me in a home somewhere. I don't want to be anybody's burden. And I mean that there's always a little bit of give and take there. And it's obviously way more emotional of a process than that. But it's a comfort, I have one of my friends I told you about that lives there. Her son just loves to know that she's cared for all the time. And that as her health declines as she ages, she's like 87 as she gets older, she's going to need more. And I've seen it in the short time I've been there. In just a year, somebody that had lived at the orchards and they were doing well, but something, could have been when you age, when you're really older in your life, you could have something happen to you like a flu, and it could just be it's done, so people are so fragile at that age. But there's been people that have declined very swiftly, and we were able to transition them from the orchards into our long-term care side of the building, which we have 5 neighborhoods and amazing staff, so that they would still receive the same care from the same physicians They'd see a lot of familiar faces with our nursing staff, and they'd know where they were. They get to age in place right at Meadowbrook, from the orchards to Meadowbrook. So it's a wonderful thing that we have in our community, and it's so not known, you know, and people, but again, people don't like to think about aging, so why would they care? Like, let me think about where I want to go to a nursing home when I'm in 40 years. Well, you know, actually plan now, people, because.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, by planning now, you can afford to have a private pay versus worrying about, you know, all your assets going to the state and be sold off.
Oh my gosh, I know.
You know, you have the two sides to long-term care, if I remember correctly.
Well, it's actually, so we're three parts, okay? So what we have is subacute rehabilitation, best in town, if I do say so myself, or anywhere. I think we're wonderful. So that was built alongside the same time as the orchards was built. So that's right up below the orchards in the back side of the building. So its own separate entrance, really beautiful. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Very Adirondack-y, warm earth tones, libraries, gathering areas, really beautiful. So the subacute rehabilitation, we have about 40 beds down there where we are. That is a busy place. That is, we're admitting patients on a regular, like all the time, coming in for any type of rehabilitation, you know, hip, they may have had a brain injury, like anything. And so they could be there for several days, a few months, but then so there's that on the first floor, and then right above it, like I said, is our limited assistance residence, the orchards at Meadowbrook. So that would really be where people could live more independently, and it really is a very separate entity from Meadowbrook. They are connected by doorways, but they're very separate in their functions. Actually, many people that are residents of the orchards volunteer at Meadowbrook.
Oh, very nice.
And that segues into the third side. The third component of Meadowbrook is our long-term care, and that's the bulk of our residents. So we have 287 beds, and I would dare say, I can't remember, I don't think I asked her today, but roughly between 250 to 260 of those beds are occupied, and those are folks that, like you said, like they need more assistance. They maybe have some level of dementia, which is very common. We have, oh man, dementia is rampant in America, and everywhere, you know. And I told you, I always say this in every presentation I ever give, because I love this thing. It's like my boss says, after you turn 85, it's basically a flip of a coin whether you're going to have some level of dementia or not. And people joke, like people my age, which is not super young, I'm 40.
We're still young.
We're still young. We're just going to go with that. But like people my age will be like, oh my gosh, I think I have early onset Alzheimer's. I'm like, don't even joke about it, because it's going to be here sooner than you know.
And it could be a possibility for some people too.
I couldn't imagine I'm not going to have it. I just, you know, I feel like it's going to be something. Maybe it'll be a good thing, but no, it won't. Dementia is very hard, and people that experience it with their family or loved ones it's a hard thing to watch.
Painful.
Oh my gosh, it's so, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I've seen so much sadness and hurt and anger because people won't recognize their own children. They won't recognize their spouse. And it just makes you feel, and this is not me because I haven't experienced it, except for my grandma, she has it, but I don't see her that often. But my mom's going through it right now with her mom, and she's just devastated because you don't know what to do. You don't know how to be the best you can be for them. Yeah. And at Meadowbrook, I'm going off on a tangent here. No, at Meadowbrook, we follow, our social service managers she won't watch this, but if I'm gonna tell her about it tomorrow, I'll tell her.
Yeah, you're gonna hear about it tomorrow, probably.
I'm gonna say Naomi felt could be wrong, I think. I can't. Anyway, she has this great this philosophy that we get behind at Meadowbrook is that when you work with people that have dementia, you have to be present with them. So if a 95-year-old woman that's got severe dementia says to you, I have to get home, my mom wants me to be home, then you say, I'm sure your mom is going to be very patient and be there for you whenever you need her. You know, you don't correct them. Yeah.
Don't try not to remind them.
Yes, exactly. So that's our long-term care side, but that also is Meadowbrook is also a home for everyone. So if people are able to financially, if they plan long-term or we're lucky enough to have a pension, which most of us don't have anymore, including myself, they were lucky they have the ability to live at the orchards, which there's not an opportunity to take Medicaid at the orchards, but in the rest of our facility, we are heavily Medicaid and Medicare patients, and so we give everybody everybody is treated. It's person-centered care. So.
Oh, definitely. When my grandmother was there, she was definitely treated with respect. And, everyone was very, very friendly. I was quite a bit younger. I was still a teenager while she was there, so it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
But, everyone was wonderful. Now, if you are watching us, I'm not able to jump in to see who is. Oh, I lied. I am now. So feel free to say hi. Let me know if you have any questions, and I would be more than happy to, make sure we get them answered.
Is anybody watching that I know?
Yeah. Terry is watching.
Terry who? Oh, Terry here.
You know Terry.
Hey, you owe me a lunch, mister. Actually, I have to say hello to my friend Dee from work because she asked me where I was going when I left from work today. I said I was going to be famous and be on Facebook Live.
You are, and this will be up on YouTube later on.
Wow, so I have to give a shout out to Dee. Dee is our transporter, and she's just lovely.
Well, hi, Dee.
Dee. So many people, like you said, that Meadowbrook is not what you thought it was. It is not. We have many more. We have 3 main areas of services, but we also have really wonderful programs for not only our residents but for our staff. So we have a music and memory program I talked to you about the other day. We are the only nursing home around that is able to. We were able to hire a music counselor. Joe Ferris has been there over a year now, and he does concerts for our residents every single day.
Wow.
But he also has been, along with the activities staff, really instrumental in implementing the music and memory program. Are you familiar with this?
Minimally. I actually met Joe at a 80KYP event.
Oh yeah.
A couple months. Was
it a couple months ago?
Yep. It was a couple months. And he was, he was a very nice guy. Seemed to really like his work, and he talked about it a little bit. But obviously, there were a lot of people around, so it's hard to really get into too much detail.
Mixing and mingling. So he, the music and memory program was kind of brought to our attention because it's really directed towards working with folks that have dementia. So what we did is we got these headphones that we can download music onto, but it's based on that individual's taste. So if you ever Google music and memory, you'll see a video, and I am going to forget the guy's name, but there's this video. Henry, maybe, this video of this man who's got severe dementia, where this guy does this research and he brings this music idea to a nursing home, and he meets this guy, and this guy has severe dementia. He's probably in his late 80s, 90s, and he spends all of his day sitting in a corner, just hunched over into himself, not responding, doesn't speak, never living, right?
Wow.
And it's just pretty much the saddest thing. And so they decided to put headphones on him, and they played this song for him that reminded him that they knew he liked when he was a kid or when he was younger. And as soon as the song came on, he just starts singing along to the music, the lyrics. And he remembered them like it was nothing. And what they found, and we're finding too, is that when people can touch can connect to music that they loved as younger people when they didn't have this terrible disease we call dementia, Alzheimer's, then they can remember stories and they can remember themselves a little bit more and they can relay it, and it makes them feel, it also has been known to reduce pain and anxiety, and we're seeing that. We're busting that program out. Like, we're doing assessments on residents all the time as they come in the doors, and especially targeting those folks with dementia, because it's just been a wonderful treat to get to watch, and it's so wonderful that we get to participate in something like this. So
very nice.
Yes.
And I bet every teenager out there will agree that it can help with pain and anxiety. So,
yeah, I mean, really,
it's wonderful that it's definitely helping out.
All ages, on any level, but it's been specifically found to be really great for folks with dementia. So anybody that has caring for a loved one in their own home that has dementia, and you haven't tried this, then certainly I would give it a go.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just playing around with the screen a little bit.
It's very high tech in here.
Yeah. That's not bad for a home office.
It's not. Very nice. And the dog is a watchdog, so nobody can come in.
Exactly. She's making sure we're nice and safe in here and no one's going to attack or rob us, thankfully.
Yeah.
Although if the person that broke in should start petting her or gave her treats, we'd be in trouble.
Oh, well, good to know. There we go. So, so what else do you want to know about Meadowbrook? What else can I share with you?
I remember you had mentioned that there's a lot of different activities that the people get to do, that they, whether it's in-house in the great meeting room or if it's going out on different trips, why don't you explore that a little bit?
Well, and it's funny you had mentioned, you thought I was the activities director.
I did.
And I will say that we are so blessed because we have the most outstanding activities departments led by Kim Clowney. I know her name is just, she sometimes goes with it. Different last names, so I have to be careful. But she's been there for 33 years.
Wow.
And do you know, it's amazing that she continues to bring the same energy and care to her job. I've just never seen anything like it. She has a very hard job. She has to process in every single new admission that we get. So anybody that comes to live there, she has to be part of that. She's part of everybody's care planning process. And she has to make sure that every single neighborhood and resident is being entertained with activities on a daily basis, and they're diverse and that they are person-centered. So at Christmas, I think I told you, we had, oh my gosh, we had so many gifts donated to Meadowbrook for our residents that we were able to tailor everybody's little pile of presents to their specific likes and dislikes. And the thing that's beautiful about that is that Kim and her team know these things. They know this about their residents, and as do our nurses, our CNAs, a certified nurse assistant is the blood of Meadowbrook. I mean, the activity staff does outstanding. The CNAs are the ones that are helping each resident with the activities, showering, dressing, feeding, eating, all the things. So they have the closest relationship with our residents, but the activities and the CNAs combined, they just bring this fullness to the residents' life. We really try very hard to let everyone's life be as happy as it possibly can. And we have couples that live there, but we also have couples that one person lives at Meadowbrook and their spouse comes to visit them every single day.
Nice.
All day, and they it's just the most wonderful thing. I did a little thing for social media at Valentine's Day, and I went around to some of the couples of Meadowbrook and asked them for advice on how to make I should have listened to their advice, how to make a marriage work, or how to make their long life work. And they said it's about communication and respect for each other. And that's a really wonderful thing that they could recognize in their relationship. One person not being well enough to be at home with the other, and they both get to be cared for in the way that they need in their separate residences. But it's a really wonderful thing we do there, and working with the elderly is very bittersweet.
I bet. And just going back to the, asking them what's the secret to the long-lasting marriage or relationship, whatever they might have. Reminds me of my great-grandfather.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Press Republican, the local paper here, interviewed him when he was 94-ish, somewhere around there. And he said that the secret, and he pointed to one room, says, she sleeps there, points to another room, I sleep there.
Oh, that's so
Absolutely
funny.
loved it.
I bet. Oh my
They
God.
were happily married for basically their entire lives.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, whatever works for everybody's different. You have to find what works for you. And, and it's a funny thing, like you're putting all these people into a nursing home. And we have some really great videos out. We worked with WPTZ on this great project, and we have 4 like docu-style, they're not commercials, they're really just like little video vignettes about Meadowbrook, focusing on recruitment retention, but also focusing on the services that we provide at Meadowbrook. So I would definitely encourage anybody to check those out. Those are on our website and on our Facebook page. So we have a lot of different ways that we try to get information out to the general public. But again, it's like something that people don't really like to talk about that much. They just don't want to talk about aging, but age happens. So there's a lot to learn from the people. Yes, there you go. You can find it right on our website. And then also, I always tell people to check out our age and place stories, which are stories about, I think I have 7 up there now on our website, and they're stories about individual residents. One of the first ones I did, his name was Larry, and he was a World War II veteran. And so I sat down and talked to him, probably just a couple months after I started, and he would just sit there and chat with me forever, and he had a bowl of chocolate that he would just eat endlessly. And
wow. I like Larry.
Yeah, Larry was the man. So what I like, my whole thing about it being bittersweet is, so I got really close with Larry, and I would visit him every week, if not a few times a week. And once I wrote a story, he shared with me that he was so he was a World War II veteran, but when he turned old enough, he walked right up and registered to go into the war voluntarily. He got right out of Dodge and wanted to go do it, but he was part of the cleanup crew. So he wasn't actually in battle, but he was part of the cleanup crew. And I'm like, well, what is that?
Yeah, I'm picturing people with brooms and dustpans. I'm guessing that's not it, though.
It's a little more intense, from what I understand. From World War II, he went over there and he would be cleaning like he would do a lot of street cleanup, home repairs, but he also had to do cleanups of the concentration camps, and he would see just some of the things that he shared with me. Like, I found a way to include them in the story, but it's really like, just for the person I was sitting there talking to, that's just a big smile on his face and telling me these stories. I could imagine being an 18-year-old and being in Germany and seeing the stuff that he saw. I just can imagine.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being any age and seeing that.
Well, I know, but that's because we are so lucky to, knock on wood. I mean, like, we are so lucky to.
I think that's wood.
Okay. To live in we haven't had World War III, knock on wood. But, like, it changes you as a person. So he spent a lot of time over in Germany, and when he was there, polka was really like a big thing, and he got really into competitions with that. Anyway, came back, married the love of his life, and ended up, she passed away, came to move into Meadowbrook because he had to have his leg amputated, and just one of the most beloved residents at Meadowbrook. And I remember coming in one day, and the activities director, Kim, came in and told me that he had passed. And nobody saw it coming. It was just over the weekend. He just like, it was his time. And I was just like, that was the first experience I'd had since working there where someone had passed away that I had developed a relationship with. And it's a really hard thing, if my plan is, as long as it's cool with my boss, is to retire from Meadowbrook because I love working there so much. but it's going to be a lot of years of loss.
Yeah, I mean, just to build that connection with people, and I see it in my line of work too, where maybe you're working with a life insurance person, and at some point there's going to be a check delivered.
I know.
At some point you're going to get that email notification,
Yeah.
and even though it's not a person telling you all the time, because you do have that connection, you sit down with people, you work with them throughout their life, basically.
They're humans. You have a connection. You talk with them. You it's just like, that's because we're feeling people. But it's one of the best things about it, though, is that I can put my own, emotional craziness aside, which is what I do, and what everybody that does at Meadowbrook does that, and they enjoy the moments that we have with these people. And I'll walk through the hall, and a woman that lives there, I can just picture her, and she just always says the sweetest things. She's like, "Oh, you're just the most darling girl," and it's just a wonderful thing to be around. So it's just, you have to learn to. And Meadowbrook isn't a place where it's the end. I'm not saying that by any means. There's so many people that live there for many years happily and engaged in different things, make friends. We have so many groups of friends of people living there. And
yeah, and you even mentioned the other day, going back to the marriage one more time.
Yeah.
You mentioned the other day that there's even the ability for people to be in the same room if they're married to each other.
We have couples that share a room. We have been at the Orchards. Our medical director. We have a couple that lives at the Orchards, and then we have a couple. I know I'm going to be missing a couple, but the ones that I know of, we have a couple that lives in the long-term care side. But yeah, I mean, they get everything that they need, and the care that they need. And it's, and we're always have open doors. I went in there one Saturday to do a little bit of work, and I could barely get out the door when it was time to leave because there were so many dogs there, because everybody wants to bring their loved one's dog, their pet, to come visit. So we have a lot of pet therapy, which is really great. So yeah, it's, there's couples that live there. We have lots of friends and people doing different activities and clubs. We have speaking at the Orchards, we're doing an after supper speaker club starting in April. So we'll have lots of guests. I told you about that. We have lots of guests coming in because we want to keep them in the loop about what's going on in their community.
Definitely. And some of the ones you mentioned were a little educational as well, talking about history and different things. So, I mean, it all sounds wonderful. Plus, you bring people different locations to go shopping.
Yeah, field trips.
Different events,
We like to take them down by the city marina, and we bring we have my old friend Paul. Well, he's still my friend, but a long time. Paul DiDomenicus is a city councilor. He's going to come in and talk about what's going on, because he's actually oversees the ward that Meadowbrook is in. And we have Mike Carpenter coming in to talk about the MHAB recovery, Always to Recovery Center, which is doing amazing work. And Herb Carpenter, his dad, is a big astronomy buff, and he is coming in to talk about the amazing, cool things he does. So we have a whole bunch of Clinton County Historical Association. So we're really excited to get them as immersed into their community as we possibly can. And they actually have a lot of suggestions for us of people to bring in. So I have my work cut out for me.
Wonderful.
I know. I open my mouth and then the work comes. But yes, we're really very proud of everything that we do at Meadowbrook. So. Well,
you're doing a wonderful job, and like I said, I was completely shocked with everything.
Yeah.
Not what I pictured. That's why I came up with the forget what you thought you knew.
I love it. I'm stealing it. Forget what you thought you knew about Meadowbrook.
Now, if anyone has any questions, we're more than happy to take questions. Obviously, I'll point them in the right direction here. If anyone is watching after the fact, has questions, just shoot a message over. I'll be more than happy to share it with Sandra. Do you have
I do. I love giving tours. Do I not love giving tours?
You do, and you do a great job.
I spit this stuff out like nobody's business. So if anybody ever wants to tour, I promise you it will be an exciting opportunity for you, and you will become more educated about things you didn't know you should be educated about in our community. specific to elder care.
Mhm.
And also, if you are a CNA or an RN or an LPN, you should check us out. We have amazing benefits, people. We get a free turkey at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you were saying free lunch?
Free lunch every day, free meal every day. We get free hams at Easter. For any holiday, we get like this free food, groceries. I mean, and those are just the fun little perks. One of my coworkers, Charlie, says he calls them old-fashioned perks. But they may be old-fashioned, but everybody loves them. I mean, we love them.
I wish I had a free lunch a day.
I know, right? It saves you like $5,000 a year. And we have really great, but if you're interested in living, we have really great benefits, retirement, and rates of pay. We are extremely competitive with all of our neighbors. But anybody that's looking for, if you're kind of questioning, the next steps in your life, or maybe you don't feel like you can care for your loved one, or maybe your parents, I would definitely not discount Meadowbrook if you think that your family member might not be so at a point where they need double care, that maybe that they just need a little bit of assistance. Or if you're looking for rehabilitation, anybody that's looking for rehabilitation, if you go to the hospital or the doctor and they say you need to have rehabilitation done, you do get to say where you want to go to get that. Many people believe that they have to be told where they're going by their doctor or whomever in the nurse's office that they're going to, but you can say, I would like to go to Meadowbrook. And you can come and tour and see the place anytime. I love giving tours. And if you come, I'll give you a free pen and a free chapstick.
I didn't get the chapstick. I got the pen.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'll get you a chapstick.
My lips are all chapped too, being the winter time.
Darn it. I'm sorry. I will. I'll get you one, I promise.
Just means I have to go on another tour, I guess.
Yes, you do. Come have another tour and I'll hook you up with the chapstick.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And for the cost of Meadowbrook, I don't know if you're allowed to say it or not, but on average, you do have Medicaid that's willing to pay for people, but for those who are worried about having that spend down and might actually be able to get into it, pay for it, whether it's through insurance or out of pocket, how much should they expect? How much should people plan for?
Well, I'm really happy I can't actually answer this question because I really, really can't, because it really depends, and this is outside of my area of expertise. We have an amazing admissions team that basically gives everybody, they come in and they talk to them and they have them fill them an application. It really sees like where they fall on that range. If somebody is extremely independent and they don't need a lot of care, like additional care, then they'll be lower. But it really ranges. You can get a little bit more information from the website, but I really caution myself with saying that a certain price, because you just never know, and I don't want to. Like when I have to give tours of the orchards to people that potentially might live there, I just try to say, and the beautiful thing about it is that it's all inclusive. So whatever you're paying, you're getting the full spectrum of care. So if you live at the orchards or in the long-term side or in subacute rehabilitation, everybody there gets physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech and language therapy for whatever they need. We have 3 physicians on staff, physician assistants. So that's huge. And we have an amazing therapy team as well. And then our subacute rehabilitation, they cater to all the patients coming in, but they have access, all of our patients and residents. So people that actually live there have access to this too. So I think, I don't know if we walked in when I was giving a tour, if it was you and I, but one of our classes being held at the orchards was an exercise class led by one of our physical therapy assistants.
Nice.
So that's ongoing. It's just a really nice, it's just the full spectrum of services. It's just everything you could possibly want for that stage of a person's life is provided to you at Meadowbrook, at our subacute rehabilitation, and at the orchards. So we're very, very proud of it.
Yeah, after seeing the orchards, I almost wanted to check myself.
You want to live there? I might be able to hook you up.
You take 40-year-olds?
I don't think so.
Oh,
you need pretty young.
Have a doctor on staff.
Yeah.
Have food, drink.
I don't think you'd be accepted right away. No. Give it another 40 years. We'll try again.
All right, well, maybe I can push it out another 50.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Yes.
If there's no questions coming, let's just give it a minute for the video to catch up because Facebook does have a bit of a lag.
Oh, is that why I see myself doing all sorts of crazy things over there?
Yeah, exactly.
And then there.
Yeah, we have the video going all over the place.
Oh, is Matt Craig watching? Is Matt Craig watching now?
He's liked the video. I don't see him as logging to watch.
Darn it.
But Kevin, Andy, Terry, Danica, Susan, Leanne, and Michael, thanks for liking. Thanks for watching. If you came in late, please rewind. Please check it out. It's a great little conversation that Sandra and I had. And there you are, just realizing that the screens are different speeds. But thank you guys for watching. And if you have any questions, anything that didn't go over, please click the links that I included, the Meadowbrook Health website and Facebook page. You can give them a call. And I apologize.
Look at my face. I mean, just on my face over there. It looked like I was like smelling a fart or something. But I wasn't. He didn't fart.
No,
sorry.
no.
Sorry.
That's all right. My face is already red enough being Irish. And I do apologize. I've been saying Sandra instead of Sandy.
Oh, that's okay. You can call me whatever.
Well, almost. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
But thank you guys for watching. It's been a great 41 minutes. And if you have any questions, just send them along. Next week, I'll talk about how I can help you guys make sure that you can get into Meadowbrook and pay for everything. So I'll talk to you then, and have a great night.